Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to join the community forum, then go to nathanoakley.com to keep up to date with the community Flat Earth Debate, and if you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere. There's also a PayPal, Patreon, and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you're currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using stock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. One last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by, let's get it right, there's quite a few of you, Zinder, Sleeping Warrior, Paul, Karen, Jose, Eric, Chocolate Saying, and Arwin. Good to have you all.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Hello. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, good afternoon.
Hello. One spot open in the panel.
Nathan, it's someone's birthday today.
Whose birthday is it?
Chocolates.
Ah, Valentine's Day's your birthday.
It's not my birthday, Riley. Get it right.
All right, I've misspoke a little bit. It's not really a birthday, but it's a key day. Go on, do you want to tell us why, Chocolate?
It's about a year since my first hangout, since first coming into this hangout. So it's my anniversary.
Technically not. So when this actually goes out, it's going out to a live audience now, but when it goes out to Nathan Oakley audience and Nathan Oakley 1980 audience, it's the 15th. So it's actually Friday the 15th when this is going out. So it's a year and one day when the majority of the people watch this. But yeah, nonetheless, when this is live.
I think it is actually the 15th from what I remember. I think it was the 15th of last year was the first time I came.
Perfect. That's
and
perfect.
You just played my first episode the other day too. I was laughing. It's funny.
That's excellent. For continuity reasons, today is the 15th, and it is 1 year to the day that we had Chocolate Saying on. And I don't know, I look to you quite often recently, Chocolate, because you know, without kissing up too much, you get it. You know, you get the vast majority of this, and are very nonchalant in your support when you just make the point very concisely. Nice and softly spoken, unlike me, to whoever is on the panel. Normally in a heated discussion. So, you know, I'm very pleased that you've been here for a year, because you're an excellent, what's the word? Adversary. Not adversary. What's the word I'm looking for?
Ally.
Ally. That's the one. I had a total blank moment. Adversary? That's the opposite of what I want.
There you
Ally.
go. That's
Yes,
why I'm
exactly.
the ally.
Right, I am going to rattle through
appreciate
housekeeping though. Got a fairly substantive panel to answer the questions. Hopefully that won't mean we take forever over them. Any signs of curvature?
No.
Nope. There's some video footage that many people can describe as curvature. It's obstruction. I say it's curvature, but you don't necessarily have to believe that.
Any obstructions, Curve, Jose?
If you're a globe head, anything that is obstructed from the bottom up is claimed to be curvature, and when you actually dig into how that comes to pass, it is by way of the R value, which is currently making its rounds. We shall see if we get to that one sooner rather than later. Maybe we should ask that straight away. Any evidence of the R value?
Nope.
No, I got no science.
Nope. No R.
Fair enough. Any evidence of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
Nope.
No. What about all those people who think they live on a ball and think that they have a vacuum of space? Any evidence that we can have the gas pressure we all know, love and breathe next to a vacuum?
I'd like to know what Jose's view on that point is.
My view is, in my personal opinion, a lot of the stuff that the space agencies presents us, you probably think is all of it, is a little bit of a scam or fraud or fakery. I see a lot of fakery on it, and my view hasn't changed on it. Now, I say because probably they're hiding something that they don't want to present us. There's a lot of information that we are not aware of, and they're just dumbing it down for the regular public like us. They present us, this is the beauty of space and this is what's going on, but not necessarily. I think it's something bigger going on out up there.
So what you're saying, if I sum it up, we're in a spherical closed system. Is that right?
Who knows? Yeah, I haven't experienced that vacuum of space next to a vacuum. I mean, this is in a big scale that any of us can really prove. So by the laws of thermodynamic and all these explanations you guys give, it makes sense that it cannot be a gas pressure without a container. They got gravity as for an explanation. I don't have anything on gravity. I have no opinion on it. But it's just interesting. My opinion, I think, is they're hiding something from us, and it's something beyond our understanding.
That was quite a comprehensive answer. Well done.
Sorry, Anthony, go on.
It's quite a comprehensive answer. Well done.
Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of said presupposed spherical Earth?
Nope.
They've only dug 8 miles, so.
Yeah, 8 miles isn't that much.
I saw a pretty picture once in my textbook in school. It was pretty.
About scientific evidence of gravity?
Only in the movies.
No? Nobody? Got a new guest?
Nope.
Flat Earth Data, how you doing?
Good, good. How are you?
Superb.
Good, good. How are you? How's the day going?
Got one last question to get through in housekeeping, I believe, unless I've missed one. Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
No.
Nope.
That's a tricky one because either it's a solid object or a light base, whatever it is in our eyes. There's still an extrapolation that just by observation, it infers that it works on whatever is moving, either the Earth or the Sun. It adds up as for a geometrical, spherical fashion.
Does anybody think the sun's tangible or physical?
No, not me.
Jose, do you think it's physical?
I don't know. I really don't. I don't think so. Personally, I don't think so. I think it's some kind of a light-based something. So this is the tricky one because we cannot extrapolate how the light behaves on Earth on our lower in the atmosphere and how the light behaves up there if it's any kind of different physics on all that things, you know.
Doesn't it have to be physical? It does. It does emulate physical properties, doesn't it? Does it not? When it moves through a cloud, you can see this actual physical intensity, and you can see that gradient of intensity.
Yeah. Just like the moon, yeah. The moon appears to be a physical rock. Like you zoom in and you can see all the crevices and all this shit. Not necessarily has to be physical, but it appears to be physical. And the sun, using a good solid solar filter, it appears to be physical, but who knows? I mean, we don't know how those lights, intangible for us, behaves and what they are made of and all that good stuff.
Well, how I conclude it's physical by observation is obviously the reaction to its environment. In other words, if it's a physical object, it's going to react physically to clouds around it, which you can see the light intensity. The closer to the cloud, the closer the light intensity. To me, that's a representation of a physical observation. I don't know if anybody disagrees with that. But to me, it looks like observably it's a real object in real time affecting the cloud. like passing by. You know what I mean?
You're talking about the sun?
Talking about both the moon and sun being physical representations and observably so due to how it affects objects around it, particularly the clouds. You can see the sun move. You can see the sun move through the clouds. Therefore, you can see it. You can see its physical reaction in its place against the object of a cloud.
Right. Let me address that for a second. Yeah, that's really nice. It's kind of like the crepuscular rays, isn't it? Yeah, you see it. It's there.
I'm not going to crepuscular rays.
Can I finish? Can I finish my response, please? Like, when you see it, it's there. Absolutely. And it's like you can tie whatever you see there directly in with the apparent location of these disks, whatever they are. But the thing is that all the remnants of what they give off, the shadow, the light, and the rays, if you look at the exact same apparent location with those clouds and everything, but from another position to the same clouds, you don't get to see any of that. Because it isn't physically there. It's just apparently there. Everything that comes from it, you get to see apparently in relation to you as an observer.
Well, I'll give you an example. If I took a flashlight and a fog, or let's say I used a smoke machine and I used a flashlight, I can emulate observably how the light moves through a fog. You can see the intensity of the light and the gradient of the light. You can see that, you can repeat this experiment yourself. So you can see physically, you can see physically and observably a repeatable experiment to match our observation. In other words, if I took a smoke machine and I took a high-powered light and I put that light through the smoke, you would see it act in observable form what we observe in reality. Is that not correct?
No, that's not correct.
So you're saying that if I took a flashlight and I took some smoke to simulate the flashlight would be the sun, the smoke machine would be the clouds, and I brought the light through the clouds, you would see because I've done this experiment, I know. You can paint it out completely in its entirety, every detail.
Know exactly what you're saying. No, it's absolutely nothing like the real thing, because the real thing in the real world, when you do that and you look at it from another location, it doesn't look like that.
Okay, so here's
the
thing.
That's the point.
Arwen, you're wrong.
It just looks
if I took two observers,
because it looks similar.
And I'll tell you.
But when you walk around the flashlight, the flashlight's still going to be physically there, confirmed and pointing in that direction. Well, if you do that in the real world with the sun and the moon, then they move with you. It's not alike.
That's irrelevant. That's irrelevant.
Is it? Is it?
That's right.
Well, how can you call it?
The question is
exactly the same when it wasn't.
Owen.
Calm down.
The question is the sun a real, tangible, observable object in the sky? My evidence suggests it is, and here's how I claim that evidence.
Right.
By observable,
and I throw
repeatable.
That claim in your face.
Owen, can you stop interrupting him? It's back and forth so far. Now
it's me. It's me again. Is it time for me to go again?
No, but you're rumpusing him. It started off reasonable, and now you're talking over him when he's trying to respond to you.
Well, he's not responding to me. He's bypassing my response.
You're not listening to what I'm saying.
Yeah,
That's why. So if physically, we're looking at physical evidence of the sun. And what I'm saying is, this is my observable, repeatable test that two observers could do at two different locations, 10 miles away, 100 miles away. They're going to see the same effect of the physical moon or sun passing in front of clouds, creating a gradient of light, an intensity of light. You can see as the cloud gets closer to the moon or the sun, that cloud grows increasingly brighter and brighter as it moves past. To me, in reality, I can do the same experiment with a flashlight and a cloud machine, indicating that it's not a non-tangible item based on that experiment. Now, I have nothing else to apply that test to, because obviously I can't get up into the sun. But observably, I observe. Thanks for the sarcasm there, bud. Observably, I can repeat this experiment over and over again and I can
When
conclude.
you say experiment,
Yeah,
what
but
is it
you
you're proving?
can no, Riley, no, I'm gonna respond.
Yeah,
to this,
I've
okay?
resisted Anthony, so you're going to have to, I'm afraid. Go on, Arwen.
It's total bullshit. Everything you said there is bullshit. Cause yeah, it looks the same. No, it doesn't.
No,
'Cause
I'm
you're
saying-
looking
I'm
at
sa-
the.
I'm-
Oh, you're not gonna let me finish now? Okay.
First of all,
'Cause
I don't
what
think you
you're
can-
looking
hold on,
at
before you
is
respond,
not
Arwen,
the
before you
same
respond,
cloud.
Before you
right?
respond,
So
tell
it
me
doesn't look
before
the
you
same because
respond,
it's not.
Before you,
Dude,
hold on.
I'm gonna freaking
Hold on,
slap you.
You're
if you don't
rumpusing
shut
him
the
now.
fuck
Hold on,
up
you're
right
both as
now.
bad as each other. Hold on,
Before
Arwen.
you respond, please
Shut up.
tell me. Please tell me
Shut
what
up.
I had.
You're just
Let
rumpusing
me
Please tell me
each
what I
finish.
other.
just stated.
No,
Shut
stop
up and let
talking,
me
please.
finish.
Can you stop
Tell
talking?
me what I stated.
Can you stop talking? You can't just make a whole bunch of assertions, let him start talking, and then say before you respond 50 times. It's not reasonable.
What I'm
Flutter
suggesting
data is
here,
long-winded. Take it easy, Flutter data. You're long-winded, bro. Let Arwen respond, bro.
what I'm suggesting, Arwen, before you respond, tell me what I'm saying, so I understand that you know what I'm saying. Can you do that for me?
Yeah. What you're suggesting is it looks the same. It doesn't.
No,
Because
that's
that
not what I'm
flat-
suggesting.
you're
That's not what I'm suggesting.
Oh, right.
So let me correct
Okay,
you.
then you don't get
Hold
an
on,
answer.
hold on.
You
I've got to
believe
interject
whatever
again
the
because you're
fuck
going to
you
be at
want.
each other's throats quickly. Hold on, Arwen. I've got to be honest. That's what I heard. I mean, I don't agree, but I heard you describing you seeing the same thing at different places 100, 150 miles away. Now you're saying that's not what you're saying? Because that's what I heard as well.
What I'm saying is two observers will observe the same processes. It doesn't matter where they're at. They will observe the sun or moon passing in front of a cloud, and that cloud increasing its intensity in light as the object of the sun and the moon move past the cloud, thereby indicating it's a physical object because it's physically affecting the cloud as it passes by. That's what I'm saying. I don't know how any other how that can be misconstrued as anything else.
Well, if you want me, I can explain it to you. If you can shut up
You don't
for
need
like
to, Arwen.
5
That was your
minutes,
chance to respond.
completely
Don't
shut
need to
up.
attack him, Arwen. Don't use up your time to respond to attack him about him interrupting when he hasn't done it yet.
No, I'm just setting the standard here. Like, I
Okay.
will not be interrupted while I explain this because
stop
this is
him.
really
I promise.
complicated and
I'll
it's
stop him.
psychological.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll stop him.
When you use a flashlight and you point at a fog that you created, you can look it from all kinds of angles. And it's going to be looking differently because you're looking at that flashlight from a different angle. Now, if you apply that to the sun or the moon out there, yeah, it's kind of going to look the same through different clouds, not the same cloud. If you look at the same cloud, but from another location, it's not going to look the same because it isn't physically there.
Okay, Arwen, you're
It will
missing.
just look alike. I'm not finished.
This guy here.
I'm not
listen.
finished
So I'm gonna-
yet.
Just let him
It's
finish. He's
only
nearly
an
done.
apparent look
You're going off
from
on
an
a
rumpusing him.
holographic projection
Just give him a
right
chance to
there,
finish. You're both
reflecting upon
rumpusing
the
each
matter
other.
that just happens to be
Okay,
there.
you're totally obfuscating what I said, dude. You're not even
No,
listening.
I'm
to
not
what I said.
obfuscating.
I'm
This
gonna
is
re-
a
I'm gonna
reply.
re-
This
I'm
is
gonna
a
re- I'm
direct
gonna re-
reply
I'm
from
gonna
your
reiterate it
misconception
again.
that it all looks the same because it's
No, that's
physically
not
there.
what I'm saying.
It's
That's
not.
what you're saying, and you're
It's
obfuscating.
apparently there.
This is what I'm saying. And now listen closely. I never said anything about apparent. I'm talking about actually what we observe. You cannot deny this. If you deny this, you're a fucking moron.
No need.
So what we observe in reality is the sun moving through the clouds, and you can see the gradient intensity. In other words, as that sun or moon moves through the clouds, you can see it approach the clouds as it gets hotter and brighter, whatever you want to use, brighter as it goes. That is unmistakably observed at all avenues, at all parties. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I'm talking about actually what we observe to indicate an actual, tangible, physical object. This is indicative of by how it moves, and it's a gradient and around its whatever environment is around.
And that is
there's
where
clouds,
you break with reality. And that's
no,
the problem.
The reality
Yes, it is.
No,
it
is.
is.
The reality is, Arwen, is you do see this.
No, the reality is it
The reality
looks
is-
the same way.
The
But it
reality is
isn't.
I can duplicate this experiment.
Yeah, but it's
I can
not gonna
duplicate
work
my
because you
hypothesis.
can look at
My
the same
hypothesis
cloud
is this.
from
Right,
different
you're both
angles.
rumpusing
and
each
it's
other
not
again.
gonna be the same
Stop. Come on,
My
one or
hypothesis
other of
is-
you.
My hypothesis is if the sun and moon are physical objects, they will affect their physical environment. How do they affect their physical environment? Well, they emit a light. How does that light affect the things around it? Well, as it gets closer to the object, it gets brighter. You can test this with any camera equipment. You can test this with your own eye. Stop being disingenuous.
No,
Stop being
it's
a moron.
not. It's wrong.
You're a moron, dude.
Oh, you're a
Right,
moron.
stop. Arwin, do you have a response to that or not?
Yeah, it's bullshit.
But that's not a response.
We
It's not an
get
argument.
from
It's
the
not a
sun
response.
that is tangible is the light heating matter and exerting heat.
Which
And
we
that's
can
the
observe, you
only
idiot.
tangible thing we get from it.
And we can
And the
observe
rest
it because
is
it gets
all
hotter,
holographic,
it
all
gets
in
brighter,
relation to the observer.
It gets brighter
From
to the
every
object
point.
as it gets
You both
Nothing
represent
is
each other.
physically, literally there.
If I took a flashlight
light.
and went closer to the wall, would the wall get brighter? Yes, it would. Does that happen to
Yeah,
a cloud?
but you know
yes,
why?
it does.
You
So
know
therefore,
why?
Because it gets brighter. It's less far distance for the light to travel, you idiot. Okay?
No, it's an angle.
Yes.
An angle.
No, you
an
idiot.
angle
My
in
flashlight-
relation to the position of
if
the
I'm pushing
observer
my
right
flashlight
there.
to the wall, I can't believe you're an idiot, Arwin. An absolute idiot. I can't believe
you're
you
an
can't
idiot.
even correlate. You
And-
can't even
and
correlate.
you're
If I took a
physically,
flashlight,
literally biased.
if I
You're
took-
biased.
I took
Okay,
one
right, that's the end.
flashlight-
physically
That's
there
the end. You
because
just
I
send
took
it
a
into ad
flashlight
homs. There's
and
nothing
and
more.
went
There's
closer
no
to
more
the
meat.
wall.
That's it.
Idiot
You've chewed
brain.
it all. Hello. There's no more meat. You just send it into ad homs.
I have
Listen,
a question.
everybody-
I have
Everybody,
a question for flat Earth data. If there is an electrical wire with an electrical current running through it, and you touch it and you get electrified, what's the tangible object? The wire or the electricity that had an effect on you? And is the
well,
electricity
the
intangible?
wire is the conduit. So the wire is what holds all the material, all the frequency or electromagnetic radiation. So the wire
Okay,
is the
but the
conduit.
electricity is the thing having the effect on you, right? Does that make electricity itself the tangible object?
The tangible object is the wire. That's the conduit. The physical spark would be the spark would be a physical result of that electricity. So yes, we can see that. So that would be the tangible. Tangible would be the electrical spark that we can observably see. So yes, it would be tangible.
Question.
But the wire
You're
is
asking-
not having the effect on the environment. It's the electricity.
It's
So
the same thing.
my point is there's a difference between the light and the source of it.
There's a difference between a light and
So
the
you're
source
saying the
of it.
sun has an effect on the environment, but you're talking about the light.
I'm saying to observe a tangible object, to do a test, to see if it's a tangible object, you could do this. In other words, if I take a light object and I put it closer to a wall or whatever object, that object will increase in intensity due to the distance from the object. The sun acts in the same manner. So I don't know how you can correlate your wire to the tangibility of electricity and whether that's responsible. I'm actually talking about something we can observe and we can experiment with. In other words, I can take a flashlight. I can see its intensity due to distance. Therefore, the moon and sun act the same way. So I am assuming that they are tangible based on that premise alone. Because I can repeat it and I can observe it.
You assume it. You can't confirm it, though. You can confirm that that flashlight is physically there, can you?
It's not as well.
Yeah, you can confirm that that flashlight is physically there, can't you?
I assume it is by what I observe through experimentation.
You know what that's called?
What do you observe through experimentation?
It's called a presupposition.
I can observe reality and test it. You understand? I can test my hypothesis.
How do you test yours?
How
do
you test yours? Hold on, Flat Data, you're being very, very disruptive. Please, can you just contain your verbal diarrhea? So we've got someone else who wants to. You still can't seem to contain yourself. You're very triggered. Just take a breath. I'm trying to say this as a friendly, that you're looking bad by being like I am normally. So, you know, I can relate. Anyway, number one, it's when you're talking about the sun, you're not performing experiments. Yeah, you're not going to vary an independent variable that tells us what the cause of that sun is. I assure you.
No, what I'm going to do is I'm going to assume that
you seem to still be struggling to contain your verbal diarrhea. I was in the middle of a sentence. Thank you.
I didn't know you were done. I thought you were done.
Yeah, you'll know because I'll stop. Okay? Thank you. So, number one, you keep using this word incorrectly. Experiment. No. What you're doing is making a comparison. So you're drawing a correlation between what you can do with your physical things here on the ground and then comparing them to what the sun does. Well, that's not an experiment. Okay? That's just you observing things here and making a comparison to some light in the sky. That's the first
So
thing.
my hypothesis, I'm going to disagree with you here. My hypothesis is that light will increase intensity closer to the object. So how do I do that experiment?
Sorry, that's not a hypothesis.
That's my hypothesis.
That's not a hypothesis.
An object that emanates.
Sorry, now you're talking over me while I'm correcting you. I've already corrected you once, and now, like Dunning-Kruger, as always, you're telling me how I'm wrong, and you have not given me a hypothesis. A hypothesis.
I'm giving you one now.
And now you're talking over me. A hypothesis establishes the cause and effect relationship. The independent.
That's right.
And here he goes again. The independent.
My hypothesis.
Here he goes again.
Is yes,
interrupting me like an asshole.
Your redundancy here.
You're being disruptive.
Is not.
I am still talking. I hadn't finished. My bad that your attention span is less than it takes me to get a full breath out.
That's not a hypothesis.
So I have light. The light itself emanates light. My hypothesis is that the physical object that emits light, the closer it gets to the object, the light will increase in intensity. That's my hypothesis.
Okay.
Now explain to me how.
Okay. I heard. Now I need to ask a few questions. Stop talking.
Variables on it? Yes, I can.
Yeah, I'm asking you. What is the independent variable in your hypothesis?
The independent variable would be the light. The intensity of the light.
Sorry, the intensity of the sun.
The independent variable would be either the distance or the intensity of the light.
Sorry, it's an independent variable, not an either or, you stupid idiot. You don't have an independent either or variable. It's one thing that you will vary and manipulate. Your presumed cause of the dependent variable. If you interrupt me one more time, I will eject you. Do you understand what I've just said to you? Do you understand what I've just said?
Distance. I have distance to deal with.
I have said if you interrupt me again, I will eject you. If you do not acknowledge it, I'll eject you anyway. Acknowledge what I've just said.
Do I not deal with distance and I do not deal with...
No, that's not what I've said.
Emission?
I've said if you interrupt me again, I will eject you. Do you understand or not?
I do understand.
Right, shut up then. The independent variable is the single, not an either or, not one thing or another, not distance or intensity, one thing. Hence the term independent.
That's right, but I have two choices.
Yeah, I know it's right, you stupid muppet. Don't tell me it's right, you stupid buffoon. I know what I'm talking about. You keep over-talking me while I'm trying to explain that it's not a hypothesis. You've not given us a single thing that you vary and manipulate, you complete buffoon. Yes, I know I'm right.
I have either distance to deal with as a variable, or I have light intensity to deal with.
I'll say it again for the complete retard who literally ignored the thing stated to him only seconds earlier. It's not either this or that as an independent variable. Do you not understand what the word bloody independent means?
Yeah, it's not dependent on us. It's independent.
No, singular, sole, independent cause. You retard.
Oh, I don't vary the light and I don't vary the distance? That's not part of my hypothesis, is it? Is that correct? No, so this is not...
Sorry, I didn't hear your question. My kid's climbing on me. Say that again.
So I take a light. I want to know if it physically affects objects near it. The farther it is, the closer it is.
You have completely ignored my point. Completely.
Ah, man. I have it's a perfect valid experiment to do with light.
So you're going to reassert that it's an experiment. So I've just explained that in a hypothesis, which is, my God, a scientific prediction, something that you will validate or invalidate with an experiment, yeah, that has an independent, that's the key word here, one, sole, independent, variable. Presumed cause of the effect. Number one, you're not going to be varying a smegging thing that causes the sun. Number two, you've got two variables, not
you
one.
Want to talk about light? That's different. I can't do an experiment that tells me what the sun is as far as light goes, but I can tell you how light reacts to physical objects.
Cool.
That's what my experiment is, and that's how I'm discussing this and how I'm portraying this. My rhetoric is the fact that
that's really cool, man. That's really
it's really cool, Aaron. You can take an object, physical object that emits light, and you can vary it. Now, I can't tell you what the emission of the sun is when it comes to light, but I can tell you that it observably shows that it's a physical object based on this hypothesis.
It's not a bloody hypothesis. How many smegging times have I got to say this? A hypothesis is a scientific prediction. It establishes the independent and dependent variable relationship, the presumed cause, independent variable, and the presumed effect you will cause with your independent variable, presumed cause, that would be the dependent variable. The effect, that's what a hypothesis is. Now again, you moved past this, completely ignored it, and are now reasserting your total shite.
So, my independent variable would be the sun. I can't move the sun. The sun.
Oh, really, you stupid idiot? Now tell me how you're going to vary and manipulate the sun. You complete daft moron. You think you can vary that variable of the sun? You stupid man.
I can see at 6 o'clock that it rises here, and I can see it at 6 p.m. and that it sets there.
Sorry, is that you varying it? Is that you varying it? Is that you varying it?
Based on that independent variable.
Oh, stupid idiot. Shut up. You're not varying and manipulating the sun. The variance that you as the independent researcher vary and manipulate, not watching the lapse of time and the phenomena continue to happen. That's not you varying it, you stupid man. You can't vary and manipulate the sun. Don't tell me that that's your independent variable, because I'll just shut you up. Eventually I'm going to kick you out because you're non-stop rumpusing the hangout.
You're telling me that I can't actually take a concept and test it in reality. That's what you're telling me.
Yeah, you can't test the concept in reality.
And you're telling me that it's unscientific to take an object like a flashlight. And hold on, and let's see. The hypothesis is if light gets closer to an object, it'll increase intensity in light. Okay, it's a very, very straightforward, common sense claim to make.
You're right, and you can test that with an actual lamp that is physically there. That you can confirm is there.
I just said a flashlight.
It works like that. Now do the same thing with the sun.
So I know the sun. I know the sun sets, and I know the sun rises. Okay, and I know the clouds pass in front of the sun. Now, how am I going to? What can I see that's a comparison in reality to what I observe in reality? What can I do for an experiment? Well, I can take a light and I can do the very such thing, which is put it close to an object, take it away.
Dude. Data. I think the point that you're missing, Data, is that, yeah, you can do that with a flashlight and a lamp and all that, and you can make some type of correlation to that with the sun, but you can't do that to the actual sun. So, yeah, it's a correlation, and it might, to you, be evidence that the sun might be physical, but it's just a might. It's just,
you're absolutely right. Do I have 100% verification on it? No. But can I emulate my reality with an experiment as such? Yes, I can. Will that emulated reality give me an insight on a physicality of the sun? I still have to assume. But does it represent the physics? Of course, because I can't actually get up there, dude. Of course. But can I see what it does? Can I see if it matches my natural environment and what I do? It can and it does. And I can also repeat this in my natural environment. But yes, you're right, guys. At the end of the day, I still have to assume. I don't know what causes the sun to create its light the way it does.
Can I just ask?
Sorry, not when he's giving me my concession that I want, Anthony. You can afterwards. So you can't establish what causes it. That's what you're trying to do in a hypothesis. So establish the bloody cause.
I can't. You're asking me what causes the light of the sun?
No, I'm not asking you that. I'm not asking you anything. I'm telling you, you don't have a hypothesis, but you kept reasserting it. Now you're saying I can't tell you, and now you're talking over me while I make my bloody point.
Because you're telling me I don't have a hypothesis.
Last chance.
I do.
Right? You keep asserting you have science. Is he talking over me again?
No, valid. Nathan, use the word valid hypothesis.
A hypothesis is a scientific prediction. Okay, if he hasn't got a hypothesis, I'm just going to kick him out. He's pissing me off so much. He cannot shut his stupid mouth.
Right.
You don't have
been in
a
chat for weeks
as
trolling.
soon as I leave a small pause to check if he's going to interrupt me again, he does. That's your last chance, asshole. I'm absolutely tired of it.
Sorry, that was me.
Oh, was it?
The thing is, Nathan, he's been trolling in chat for weeks and literally being like repugnant to everybody. And when he comes on the show, he's just another asshole. Scientifically illiterate.
Well, is he a disker? Like a fanatical disker? Is that what he was trying to do?
I've only ever seen him trolling.
physics.
I've never seen him like having decent discussions or back and forth with anybody, just being like a repulsive individual, a subhuman. You know, like Miles Delia Davis.
What's going on, guys?
Can I make a comment that I was trying to get out so maybe somebody can hear it?
Physics, what's up, man?
Yes, please do. I did say I'd let you have it, and then I just lost my temper with him instead. I'm really sorry.
Oh, good, Nathan.
Oh, he was testing everyone's patience, so I don't blame you.
Can you guys see my screen? Can I try to make my comment on this?
Yeah, I'll stick it up.
Okay. And if you was using, can you see my cursor moving? So I can try to point this out. See my cursor? Is it moving around at all? I don't know if it, okay, I can't pull it up on my end. But anyway, the light source is the green line to the left. There's a lens in between, and it creates a focal point right there. And then over to the other side, there's another, I guess, a reflector. But if you're standing on the reflector, let's say, looking towards the light, I would assume it would look like there's a point of light right there in the center where the rays cross. You can actually move this lens back and forth, and it would actually probably move this focal point in and out accordingly. So looking from the ground upward, it would be a focal point, which is I think what the sun to me could be potentially. I would agree that there could be a aspect of being physical. We just don't know. But to me, this would show just a way of that it could be a non-physical object, and the source of the light is from somewhere else. And if you wanted to vary the point of light, you'd have to vary the lens here at some point to move it back and forth to show where it would be. But obviously, we can't do that. That's what I was going to try to get into on his point, but obviously, I never made it there. You understand what I was trying to say? You said what I was trying to say. Does that make sense?
For me, it's the fact that it doesn't triangulate that strongly implies that it's not actually physical.
Right.
I kind of get where he was trying to get at. Like maybe to him, that's his. You know, it's what convinces him that it's physical. Because I'm not gonna lie, it does feel physical to me when I go outside and the sun is beaming on me and I'm hot. So it does feel like there is something physical to that. But that doesn't prove to me that it's a thing up there. I mean, I don't know what it is. I don't know where that light's coming from. I don't know how I'm feeling the heat because I can't go up there and analyze it. So until then, it's just what it is.
Right. Even his assumption that, oh, if you get closer to that light, that flashlight, oh, there's more heat, there's more light. So yeah, I don't think that works the same with the sun at any point. The light coming from it is always the same. No matter the distance to the apparent disk, there is really none. It's always the same apparent distance, edge of vision, wherever you are located. And yeah, if something is in between, then yeah, the light will be obstructed. But there is no point, like, let's get closer to that sun and then more heat comes. No, it's the same.
Yeah, but the amount isn't always the same. In winter, there is less light coming to us.
No, but that's the
No, it's the same light.
itself
We're just getting less of it.
But the distance factor, you can prove that with a flashlight. You can actually vary the distance because you have confirmation that it is physical in a physical, literal location. So yeah, that makes sense. But when you do that with the sun, it turns out you can't do that with the sun. And that is the whole point.
Yeah, but I've never seen light that doesn't come from a light source. And every light source I've seen is physical. So the burden of proof lies on you guys proving that it isn't
that's
physical.
not true. That's not true. Projector lights, they're not physical, are they?
Where does it come from? Yeah, but
oh,
where
right, I get you.
does it come from?
All right, ignore me.
It
Carry
always
on.
come from a physical
Hold on.
thing.
No, I totally agree with that point. So,
you
if
assume
for the
that
sake
it
of argument, if you have an example where you have a window for the sake of argument, and on the other side of the window, you've got a whole bunch of, nature. So it's open to the elements. And I put a really intense laser light on that window and move it across the window. The animals that are on the other side of that window are directly affected by the hotspot that is produced on that window. And from their perspective, they just see the hotspot. They see the light emanating heat from the surface of the window. So as far as those insects are concerned, that's the light and it does what it does. And they aren't aware that I'm holding a bloody laser pen and pointing it at the window. They're just directly affected by a piece of light that's coming off a surface of a pane of glass. Well, that's a projected light. You haven't got a clue where the source is, and the insects haven't got a clue, and we've got a light up in the sky that we've not been to, haven't checked, don't know what it's produced by or how it's come to pass. So to say, well, it's burden of proof on you to prove it's intangible, no, by definition it's intangible. You're not going up and touching it and verifying what it is or where it's come from. None of us are. So it's not on our laps to prove it. It's on the people who say it is a physical object. It's 93 million miles away.
Yeah, but I haven't seen the projector of the lights, you know what I mean? Like, as you said, the laser that you are holding in your hand and you're fooling the animals with, it is physical and it is material. So at the end,
you misunderstand what I meant. Yeah, the laser in my hand is physical, but the light that the animals experience on the pane of glass, I could be 30 feet away, pointing it at the pane of glass, and the bit that they see is the light on the glass and the heat that that light produces. Well, that doesn't mean that the light that they experience is actually physical, because it isn't. It's coming from somewhere totally different. For all we know, I'm not saying this is the case, what we see on the sky is projected from a completely different location. Its origins are unknown. That's just a fact. It is intangible.
Well said.
And I also just thought of something about heat that we need to consider. Just the heat of the sun. I just thought of something. I've been thinking about this just while we were talking. There's, like in a kitchen, there's 3 ways that I can think of to heat up something on the stove. You can use the microwave. You can use the radiant heat from an eye. But there's also another one that can heat up an object, and that's a magnetic field. I forget. I think the term is convection. Not a convection, but it's those ovens that, or the stoves that you can put your hand on it. It's not hot, but it will heat up a pan. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, they're called induction. Induction.
Talking about induction?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. What if some of the heat that we're feeling is induction? So it really may not be the light itself, but it's induction at some level. That's a possibility. I'm not saying it's what it is, but it's just a thought.
Right.
I personally think that the sunlight only gets warm when it gets to our atmosphere. I don't think it travels through its medium if it's space or whatever. I don't think it's hot when it's traveling. I think it's only hot when it gets here.
Well,
don't you find it a little bit?
Heat is released when it is absorbed by matter. That is what actually happens.
Don't you find it a little bit ironic that I was the one presenting the argument the sun is by definition intangible? We don't know what it is, how far it is, and how the light behaves, not necessarily like Earth. And then the flatter guy, flatter data, is arguing like on the ball side, like it's a tangible object. It was ironic.
Well, it's not really from the ball side. It's just another flat Earth side. Look, there's division in that. Like, the further you dig into, okay, it's not a ball, so what must it be? And then you tend to fall into traps of making assumptions again to progress, to get a model. And yeah, physicality assumption bias is a big part of that. And that's exactly what this guy did. He assumed it must be physical because something else that gave off light is physical, has all these effects. It kind of looks the same, so it must be the same. So yeah, he's using a presupposition. And that's pseudoscience.
To be honest, I don't think he was trying to say that it has to be the same. I think he was just saying that this is my evidence thinking that the sun might be physical in response to our response to the question, is there any evidence for distance of the sun? And we say there is none. So I'm sure there are people who hear that and they're like, what the hell? Like, you know, I think it's physical, you know, so why don't these guys? You know what I mean?
Right.
So the sun might be a reflector, like a mirror, and the mirror would be physical too.
Well,
right, but we
be.
Can't see the mirror. We just see the reflection or whatever it's bouncing off of.
Yeah. We just see the apparition of the sun disk.
Have you ever seen light?
Feel the light as it hits.
I don't know. I want to hear. I want to hear Zinder. Go on, Zinder. Sorry, Owen.
Have you ever seen light reflecting off something non-physical?
No.
Yeah, that's a problem because.
Sorry. Have I seen light reflecting off something non-physical?
Go on, sorry, I'm outside. I can't hear you
it's okay.
very well.
What's the question? I've got a terrible cold and a kid in the background, so I'm struggling to hear as well. So, was your question? Have you seen light reflecting off something non-physical?
Yes.
That
can't say that I have.
Oxymoron.
Yeah, I haven't seen that either.
The thing is, like, I can only base my reality on things I can observe and can experience, right? So, I've heard the argument of a hologram, right? But a hologram needs a projector. So, at the end, when I compare it to the Earth, everything we can see on Earth, I think the sun has to either be physical or has to come from something that is physical.
But it's not on Earth, is it? It's not on Earth. You're comparing it to your experience of terrestrial interactions, but it isn't. It's in a region that we don't experience. That we don't. You said, well, you have to go by your experience. Well, your experience of that intangible object is extremely limited.
Yeah, obviously I can't go there, but at the end, you can say you don't know, but you know, if you assume that the sun isn't physical, then you could assume anything else. You could assume unicorns are real because unicorns aren't in our world; they are in another dimension.
I agree with you. I completely agree with Zinder. To say, I would never state, outright that it's not physical. Because I don't know what the hell it is. To say it's not physical is a claim that I wouldn't be prepared to make a stamp of. The question being, how far is it? Now, to come up with an answer requires you take a few assumptions along that journey, which is the bit obviously we're picking apart, which is why the question's phrased as it is. But you hit the nail on the head. The honest answer, the only answer, is I don't know. Because we don't.
Yeah, I don't know. I agree with you. I've only heard a part of your response, but I think I have heard the key part of it.
And again, I think that's what triggers people about that response, because, you know, we're comfortable saying we don't know what it is when, you know, so many of us have read exactly what it is or supposedly what it is in a textbook or something when we were kids. So, you know, that's how that works.
Yeah, I can say I don't know, but there is certain evidence pointing towards that the sun is physical. Like, I know, like, Arwin doesn't agree with spectroscopy, but that's kind of a correlation that is there and can't be ignored. Then there is shadows.
Yeah, it can. It can be entirely ignored. In the same way as if I say there's a correlation between the babies and the hospital building, so therefore, well, we can't ignore that correlation. Clearly, hospital buildings cause babies. Well, they don't, do they?
Yeah, no, they don't. You can recognize the correlation, but you don't have to apply it, because
you don't have to draw a conclusion from it.
Correlation is not causation.
Exactly. So you don't have to draw a conclusion. You can say there is a correlation. Well, that's fascinating. So what?
Well, so like when I look at elements getting burned and I look at the light, right, like spectroscopy, I can see that those elements emit a certain type of light, like the little black dots inside the spectrum. Sorry, I was a little bit running around. So now I can see only those elements emit that type of light. So obviously, I assume that the sun is made out of those elements, but there is a color. I don't think that can be ignored.
Okay.
Like completely ignored.
That's okay. That's great.
I've got a rebuttal against that.
Oh, me too. But can I go
disagree.
first though? Because I love mine. So have
Can
you
I get my
not
rebuttal against that?
have you not had the transsexual spectroscopy example used before on Usinder?
I don't think so. I don't remember.
Oh, excellent. Then you'll be unfamiliar. So we have a similar scenario. We're on the edge of a lake, and what we've got is binoculars, telescopes, various different instruments that can detect scents in the air, all sorts of clever things that we can use to analyse things that we see in our telescope. And on the other side of the lake, what you see is what seems to be the outline of a beautiful woman with high heels and a dress and a scarf, long flowing blonde hair. You can even focus right in on her blue eyes. And then from this side of the lake, you can make all kinds of comparisons, because I've got 10 almost identical women lined up on this side of the lake. So based on your correlation between what's on this side of the lake and on what's on that side of the lake, would you say that that's a woman on the other side of the lake?
Oh, because she looks like a woman, she might be transgender. That's the point, right?
But the hold on, Zinder. No. The correlation can't be ignored.
Yeah. So
Zinder, there's a very strong correlation between what's on this side of the lake, women with dresses and high heels, and what's on that side of the lake. And according to you, that correlation cannot be ignored. So it's a woman on the other side, right, Zinder? Can't ignore these correlations, can we?
It's probably a woman if she looks like a woman.
That's a shame, Zinder. Because she's got a cock. What do you know?
Well, the chances are
correlation
higher,
is not causation, my friend. So, yeah, there might be a very strong correlation with what you compare on the ground to what you see in an area you don't visit and is intangible. But it doesn't necessarily mean your conclusions are correct. You might end up with a woman with a dick.
Well, but the chances are higher that she's actually a woman if she looks like a woman.
Yeah, the chances were very high. We established
you don't know that she is a man.
Yeah, we went through this. The chances were high, Zinder. The chances were very high. And we didn't ignore the correlation and ended up with a woman that had a dick. That's the problem when you make these assumptions.
Yeah, you
well, you already
have
know,
to check
and that's when you say, "Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs."
No, obviously, you only know that she's a man if you see her cock. But,
wow, so what you have to go and... So let me get it straight. We've got to go and have a little proper check. So the sun, wouldn't we need to do the same by your own standards then, just to make sure?
Right.
Yeah, so we have to...
hold on. Hold on. But
yeah.
Do we do that? Is that what we do? Like we would do with the woman on the lake? With the sun?
Well, we have... Go on, sorry.
Is that what we do? We go out, we go and have a look at the sun and check if it's got a dick or not. Is that what we do?
Yes, we have to be 100% sure. We have to go there and check if the sun has a dick or not.
Right, so has somebody gone and pulled the pants? Has somebody done that then? Gone and pulled the sun's pants down or not?
Nobody, no.
No, that's right, Zinder. So we can ignore this correlation then.
You can ignore, but I'm going
to because there's no need to pay it any credence whatsoever. Sorry.
That is so sexist that you assume that the sun is a man.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It is really sexist. I mean, maybe the sun is it has both genders. You know, there are people with both.
Zinder, Zinder, how strong? Well, firstly, do you agree that the triangulation of the sun's not possible, or do you think that it is?
I've never done that, so I would have to know how to do it, try it myself, fail at it, and then be 100% sure that it's impossible. So I don't know if it's possible or not.
Okay, so hypothetically speaking, then, if we accept just for the sake of discussion that the sun's not capable of being triangulated, would you agree that that is strong or not strong evidence for it being physical?
Well, if it isn't possible at all to be triangulated, it probably isn't physical, because that would mean that it would be at many places at the same time. Like,
yeah, you know, it could be in different places for everybody.
Yes. So if something is in different places for everybody, it won't be able to be triangulated. So that means probably it isn't physical, because physical things can't be at the same place at everywhere at the same time. But
is Karen still
that's a big if, right? That's just at the end you can say, all right, it's affirming the consequences. It would be good evidence, but it wouldn't be proof for the sun being non-physical.
I like Cinder. I like Cinder. He does my bit for me. Correct, Cinder. So beautifully put.
Is Karen still here?
Don't think so.
I've got to go on mute for like a while.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to drive. I shouldn't drive while like talking.
Did you
Was this show 90% about the sun, eh?
There's a few minutes left on the live stream, so if someone wants to get a point in before we stop being live.
Gotta love it.
No? Any last points just before we round out the live show? Anthony?
It was ironic how flat earth data came in hot being a flat earther instead of talk and let talk and being more, having more of a dialogue, and he couldn't help himself in his pride or whatever his issue is. No good. Not a good look for flat earth on his case.
Right. And I wanted to make one final statement for us all, and that is for anyone out there watching this debate, okay? Flat earthers are not gender biased towards the sun.
So on that quite amusing note, I will say to at least the live audience a huge, massive, enormous thank you for joining us and hopefully sharing this live debate. If you're watching on Nathan Oakley or Nathan Oakley 1980, stay tuned as there will be the after show to follow. What a funny show. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!